Hello, Isaac. Welcome to 106. Thank you for agreeing to talk to me. Can you share where you're hailing from?
Oh, hi there. Thanks for having me. My journey has been quite long. I was born in the US, stayed for about 9 months, and then moved to Jakarta, Indonesia, for around 2 years. So about 3 years old, and then our family moved to Sydney, Australia, and I spent about 7 years from kindergarten prep to primary school, and then I moved to Brisbane, Australia, where I did some primary school and then finished and then did high school there till grade 11, grade 11, oh, grade 10, halfway grade 11. And then grade 11, me and my family moved to the United States, where I finished high school from grade 11 to 12. So I graduated in America. And then I decided to do 1 semester of college at the University of Minnesota in the
Hmm.
US. So there I studied a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology. I only stayed for 1 semester because the tuition was too high. So I moved back to Australia to do university. I started with the Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, and then I took a introduction to computer science class, and I actually realized it was very hard, one of the hardest courses I've done in my life, but I found out I enjoyed it a lot and I actually learned a lot through the process. So I decided to add a computer science degree. So then I was studying a Bachelor of Science in Psychology and Bachelor of Computer Science for about 4 years, and then I graduated, and yeah, now I'm working as a software engineer. But yeah.
Well, thank you for that, and what a very interesting background that you have. And so let's just recap this. You were born in the U.S.
Hmm.
You moved to Indonesia, Jakarta, Indonesia.
Yep.
Then from Jakarta back to the US or to
Oh, to
Australia,
Australia.
to
Yes.
Australia.
Yep.
And within those movements, how old were you? Can you recall between?
Oh, yeah. So from the US to Jakarta, I was about 9 months. And then from Jakarta to Sydney, Australia, I was about 3 years old.
And then at
And
what point did you move back to the US?
when I was halfway grade 11 in Australia. Yeah.
Okay.
So end of 2019, around there. Yeah.
And then you finished high school in the US
Yes.
and started 1 year of college in the US.
I did 1 semester college in
One
the US.
semester at the University of
University of Minnesota.
Minnesota, and you said it was too expensive?
Yeah, for the US college is too expensive. Yeah. It was
Okay.
taking too much of my, it was like taking my mom's salary and then just taking it, yeah.
And
So
then
yeah.
and your area of study was psychology at University
Yes.
of Minnesota. And then you decide to attend university in Australia
Yes, that is
and
correct.
continued with the psychology degree.
Yes. Bachelor of
How
Science.
what is the can you give us a comparison then or
Hmm.
contrast of college in Australia versus college in the US, aside from the
Oh,
financial difference?
yeah,
Difference.
yeah. There is, yeah, so the comparison between Australian and American is very big, I would say. It's quite the contrast. So for one, in America, like especially your freshman year, so the first year they call it freshman year, everyone is like expected to be in like dorms, or it's a social norm to be in the dorm. So you expect to
Right,
like live on campus, and then you eat on campus as well, and then you can just walk to class and things like that. In Australia, it's very much uh you don't you're you don't have to live on campus. It's very normal to just be living like still with your family, or you have a shared house but outside of campus. So it's a lot cheaper. But yeah, in America it's kind of like, oh, you should be on college to have the, full college experience, things like that.
right.
Um and then also the college culture is very different. It's in America, you know, you have like those big sports stadiums, and then there's a lot of
Right?
like team spirit about the uni. Like there's a lot of
Yeah.
like rivalry. Like they have a lot more like passion for their college. And like when I went to the Minnesota, like, oh yeah, let's go. I think we called it Yovem for short, but like, yeah, let's go Yovem. Let's go. Like we're like they're very supporting their college, like very because we're seeing other schools fly in to play sports and things like that. It's very competitive. But
Right.
in Australia, no one really cares. There's not really a college atmosphere. No one really has like that much passion for
Mm,
like their college against others. Like, oh, I just go to uni here, it's whatever, and like
okay.
yeah, in America, everyone's like wearing their merch. Everyone like very, very proud of their college. In
Right.
Australia, it's oh yeah, I just go here, whatever. It's much more
So
that.
the focus then is more the academics versus the entire college experience, as you said.
Mm, oh, I mean, in
In
America, it's still about academic, but like, uh, they have just more college spirit in general. Yeah, team spirit. Yeah.
what is the academic behavior of students in comparison? Because I mean, now we know that, and we're going to talk a bit about AI, but we're not getting going to get into it. Do you find it the same type of dedication amongst the student body in, did you say it's Brisbane, Australia?
Oh yes, yes.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah. Interesting question. Academics wise, um, I would say it's quite similar. They were both quite like hardworking in terms of study and like caring about getting good grades and things like that.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, it was just dependent on the degree they were doing, but like they stayed US versus even though there's more college funness and things in America, they still really cared about academics and getting good grades and things like that. But I
Okay.
will say in terms of I don't know if it was just my uni, but the grading and the structure was much more harsh in Australia, or it was harder. And maybe I don't know if because the uni in America wasn't as good, but the one in Australia is definitely more stricter in terms of that. And it's harder to get good grades compared to America. But yeah.
Okay. So then it seems then as the structure is more formal in a sense there. It's not where you can, appease to your professor and say, do so, give me extra points for a grade or something. Does
Yeah,
that
yeah,
happen?
yeah. That's true. Yeah, America was definitely more lenient, I would say. Actually, yeah. I one time I overslept for an exam in America, and then I was still able to retake it later. But if that happened in Australia, like I would fail basically instantly. So
Oh,
there's no
wow.
leeway. Yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
it's interesting.
In the end, though, I mean, I don't know if you develop French or friendships in the US, and you can at least, hear about the same age group, about their experiences. But does the degree that you obtain pays off based on where you get it, or does it matter if you get it in the US or you get it in Australia?
Interest. I would definitely say it does matter actually.
Huh.
Because especially like especially US degrees. If I like personally, if I could have afforded the American degree, I would have definitely picked American over Australian
Mm-hmm.
because there is just much more for one, there's much more prestige in an American degree because it's more global and things like that. It's more recognizable. I
Yes.
think more people would recognize University of Minnesota than University of Queensland, even though it's Queensland is ranked higher technically, but it's more like recognizable if like employers want to see you like, oh, you went. It's more just because it's more recognizable. It's like it kind of feels more uh trustworthy kind of thing, and especially I didn't try for the high. I mean, I should have, but if I could have gone to like even like a Ivy League higher uni, I would have definitely done that just for the name in general. Um,
You
so
go ahead.
and yeah, I think it's just more and on there. So that with the name as well, and then also the network and connections. I think US just has a much bigger network of people to meet, like cool, like higher up people to meet, and more connection, like Silicon Valley and just the bigger people.
Oh.
So I think that's also quite important. Australia does have some, but it's much more niche and hard to find. But I
Okay.
think that's
And I see, I think I understand because it's specific to especially to your career area. What thus you mentioned Silicon Valley. And we're going to get into that. So when it comes to do use a GPA system in the university setting there as well?
In
In Australia?
Australia, oh, they have a yeah GPA system, but it's different scaling. Australia is 1 to 7, and then and then America's 0 to 4. Yeah.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Yes.
So it probably harder to get to seven than in a way,
Oh,
right?
still, I mean, technically, it's like 7 is equal to a 4,
Four.
but
Okay.
like it's just like
Okay.
longer range. Yeah, yeah,
All right.
yeah.
In terms of the classroom setting, do you have more lecture halls or is it more like a small student teacher ratio in the classroom setting based on your experiences? And this is, we're talking about your undergrad degree
Oh, in America and Australia.
in Australia.
Oh, Australia. Um, it was like the same in Australia as in America. There was some lecture hall. Oh, sorry. There was some lecture hall settings, and then there was smaller classroom settings with like the one teacher. So every class always had like the big class with a lot of people, and then smaller classes. But then I'm not sure if this was a American thing or not, but uh, like all the smaller classes where
Hmm.
you had to attend the classes. But in Australia, well, at least for the computer science, you didn't have to attend to the smaller classrooms. It was optional. But America, they marked you on if you came or not as
Right.
well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you said that it's a lot cheaper. Can you give an example? Tuition per year there, just an example.
Hmm. So so the thing for me is because I was born in the US and I grew up in Australia. I was a dual citizen. So I was domestic in America and in Australia. So even the domestic price, so the domestic price in America was about 25 grand USD
Per
per
year.
year.
Per year.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then but that if you convert that to Australia, that's about 40 grand Australian dollar. And
And
then
how much does it cost to attend there per
in
year?
Australia for 1 year, ranges from uh about 8 to 15K a year Australian dollar.
Wow.
It was very, yeah. So not only that is that the Australian system has something called a hex system. So
Mm-hmm.
basically it's so like in America you have like people will take a loan from the government to pay
Right.
off their um once you finish college, you have to pay that off straight away. And then if you don't pay it off, you get like interest, right? But it's like a tax at a normal interest rate, like
Right.
what a 5% something. But in Australia, after you finish your degree, you don't have to pay off your debt until you find a job that pays a certain amount. And and
Wow.
there's no there's
Penalty.
interest, but it only goes up by inflation. So it's very
Hmm.
minimal, like 1-2% or something. But the American system, they'll tax you by the normal interest rate, which is very high, and it can compound very quickly.
Yes, and it
So
changes.
yeah, yeah,
Wow. Wow. That's pretty interesting. So you're able to still maintain a life even after college and not having that overly burdensome student loan kind of riding
yeah,
around.
yeah. So
That's
even if you don't have a job after, if you even can't find a job after, you're still like okay for a bit. Yeah. Oh, wow.
so, but the government still give you, is it the government that produces the loan for the students, or you have to go through other private places?
Oh, it's the government. So as long as you
Mhm.
are an Australian student, as long as you're Australian, then you get automatic loan,
Oh, that's
and it's
very interesting. All right. Tell me about the student body in Australia.
student body. Oh, and
In
you mean
terms
like
of the diversity, is it diverse,
diversity?
meaning you have a lot of international students? Do you
Mhm.
have other students from Indonesia? Do you have students from America who are
Mm.
Americans and visit there? Do you have students from Africa, Southeast Asia, wherever?
Yeah. Oh, in so my in my University of Queensland, it was very diverse, but I would say it is much more proportionate Asians than than other races. It's
Oh,
very, I think in Australia especially, it's very Australian universities are very dependent on international students for in terms of money and things like that because
yeah,
the international students pay way more. So they are heavily incentivized to take in more international students. So
right.
you notice on campus, it's a lot of diverse groups and you hear a lot of languages all the time and everything. And it turns out, so there's, I would say the two most biggest bodies are Chinese and Indonesian, actually.
Oh, wow.
So
So you feel right
yeah.
at home there, among your
Uh,
fellow
yeah,
countrymen in a way.
yeah. Yes and no, because they're like the Indonesian, like they're like the actual Indonesians who grew up and are speaking fluently and everything, and then
Uh-huh.
moving here. But
Are
yeah.
you
So on my
saying that they
university,
can detect that you are not so much a full native speaker?
yeah, yes, they can. Yeah. Well, that's the difference. I would consider myself more Australian than Indonesian. I'd say because I grew up
Okay.
here. But yeah. But yeah, my university also has a partnership with one of the Indonesian universities.
Hmm.
So it's a program where they do 2 years in Indonesia and then 2 years at my uni.
Hmm.
So you'll notice a lot of Indonesians in that program, and they're like at my university because of that.
Did you take that opportunity or no?
Oh no, that's only for if you're an Indonesian student in Indonesia.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so you didn't need to. All right. So you said that so for those international students then, if residential life, like on-campus living was is not just such a big deal, did the university still provide that though for them? Or they have to find housing on their own?
Oh yeah. So the university still provides residential on
Hmm.
campus, but it is very expensive than the norm. Yeah, it's upwards about I don't three 300 350 US dollars per week. But it's like
Oh, that's
uh
expensive. Yeah.
yeah, it's available, but yeah, much more like on the higher side.
Okay, okay.
Everything.
What about the academic body in terms of the professors? Is it the same type of approach where you would have a lot of part-time adjunct professors teaching, or you'd have more full-time faculty members? And are some of these faculty members also international, um, you know, groups, meaning they're coming from different countries as well, or it's mostly local Australian, native Australian teaching? Well, not native, local
Oh yeah.
Australian.
Yeah. So yeah. So there's like I would say like 2 to 3 layers of the faculty. So there's the lecture professors, the one who like manage the courses and things like that.
Mhm.
I will say that a lot of them aren't from Australia. A lot of them are taken from the US, Canada,
Ah, I
London,
see.
like that. I
Yeah,
think it's quite rare for them to actually have a native, I mean like local uh
Australian.
yeah, local Australians because I think they like to get like that's what I was saying before about they like the talent from overseas like the US degrees. It's more like recognizable.
That's
So
what I
I think they prefer to take the people from the US over their own because it's much more it's
I
much like
get.
cool, more prestigious, something like that. Yeah. So yeah,
Yes,
you've
isn't
noticed a
that
lot of
interesting?
international threats there. Yeah, I think it's quite interesting. Yeah.
Is there a reason why you choose the University of Queensland? Is it for the
Uh,
program or for the cost or location?
for me, it was probably just the location because I grew up in Brisbane, so I was just more familiar with the place. So I just
Hmm.
chose University of Queensland.
Okay.
Mm, yeah, but
Or,
then yeah, there's also the so you have the professor, and then you also have the tutors they call it here. So it's called the teaching assistants in
teaching
America, but
assistants,
they call
yeah.
them yeah, but they call them tutors here in Australia. And
Hmm.
then you'll notice a lot of them are casual, so they'd only work about 5, 10 hours a week, and then they're just recruited from. It's very depending on the faculty, they're like different types of people. Some of them are undergraduates as tutors, and then some are like PhD, masters, PhDs doing the tutoring stuff. I also did some tutoring as well. I was part of the team for computer science.
Okay.
But yeah.
So there's
interesting.
some ex brilliance there, extra brilliance there. All right, great. Now share the your undergrad experience. It seemed as if you were bent on studying psychology because you started it here in the US, and then you decide to, take it, continue it in Brisbane, Australia, right? So
Mhm.
tell us why psychology as a undergrad major.
Yeah. So growing up, I played a lot of sports, and I was also very interested in just like the way why humans do the things they do, and like what makes them like I always like to theorize different reasons on why people act like this or why I'm
Mhm,
like this and things like that. So it was definitely like just the common interest I had growing up, and I thought it was super cool. And especially when I played sports as well, I realized like mental is like a very big thing. It's not just
right.
like physical things. It's like you have to be in the right mindset and then to be able to perform well. So
Mhm,
I was very interested in this path, and that's why I decided to take it. I did take it as a subject in high school as well, and then I thought I wanted to continue in high school in university as well. So that's why I did the Bachelor of Psychology in Minnesota and then also in Australia.
What
So
is it? I mean, you go to sports first. What is it in terms of human behavior in sports that seems, I don't know, I don't want to use the word appealing, but interesting or curious?
mm,
Seems to
because
pique
yeah,
your curiosity. What about it in sports?
yeah,
In
because
human behavior?
when I used to play a lot of basketball, and I wanted to like be the best, like perform at my best. And then I realized like even though I was like training a lot and working out a lot, sometimes I just wasn't getting the best performance. And I knew something was like kind of missing. And then I realized sometimes I played well, sometimes I didn't. And then I realized the difference was like my mental, like how I was feeling, and then what I was thinking about and what I was focusing on. So then I really wanted to like try and maximize that to get the best out of myself. So then I thought of different like techniques like meditating, and then this terms of like being in the zone, the flow state, being in like your focus. So I was like,
Did it
how can
work?
I? It did for a bit actually. Yeah, it did for a bit. Yeah,
Okay.
but yeah, it's quite a hard thing to maintain. But that was really interesting to me at the time. Yeah.
Do you believe, well, if you're talking about psychology and human behavior, do you believe that the ability to be very good at a sport is innate, or is it through, well, let's might as well just use the word nature nurture, or or can someone just train you to be the best at it? Which is it? You have that
Mm.
natural ability to just excel, so you don't have to do any of those extraordinary type of training, or you think that, I like sports. I don't know if I have the built-in skills, but I'm gonna find the best trainer to get me there. What do you think? Which one is it?
I I think it's it's yeah, a combination of both, which some people are innately good at something, but it doesn't mean anything if you're not willing to train it. But
Okay.
I also don't think it's possible for someone without any nature to become a certain status, no matter what amount of training you go through. Because it's like even me, like I probably could never be in the NBA or something if I really tried or something. I don't have the height or the athleticism to make it there. But for someone who's a bit more, but if I, picked a different sport like ping pong or something, like I'm pretty good at hand-eye coordination. If I really focus and train on that, I probably could be something, but I just picked the wrong sport, unfortunately. But it's
So basically, you're saying in the US, one of the early things that a lot of kids learn is that, well, everybody's a winner. You don't believe that because
um
here you're saying that, nah, even if someone that doesn't born with that particular trait, it's hard for them to build to kind of, curate that. So not everybody's a winner then.
I would say not everyone is a winner in what they want to be in, but they are definitely a winner in something. It's
Okay,
something, it could be something, it's probably something else. Yeah, yeah.
okay.
But just not everyone can be a winner at the same thing. I don't think that's fair.
That
Yeah.
that's a fair response. That's a fair response.
Yeah.
So when you the fascination about psychology, did it meet your needs? I mean, did it continue to pique your curiosity throughout the entire um,
Oh, and
is it 4 years that at the
yeah,
university?
yeah, 3 to 4 years.
Okay.
Yes. Um, to be honest, in university, my interest for psychology kind of quite dipped quite a lot. I
Okay.
think I'm not sure if it's just the university. I think psychology in America is much better, I would say. It's much more. I think because that's
Also,
where
also.
um well, for one, the US is kind of where psychology was born. It's like many of the main founders are from psychology. So,
Mhm.
especially when I was learning it in America, it was much more interesting for some reason. And like I seemed to be learning new things and things were like quite exciting. And then I realized and then when I was studying in Australia, it was quite bland for some reason. Like I was learning like the same things over and over again. I wasn't learning much and like it wasn't very practical.
Mhm.
And then I noticed a lot of the psychological research papers were from the University of Minnesota, and like my school in Australia was like talking about them like casually, but like so it was cool to see like it was from that place. But um, in Australia, especially like I lost a lot of interest in psychology. The things weren't very practical, and a lot of things were just very theory heavy.
Yes.
So and um. So it was just like something I could have watched on YouTube or something. And then also like the classroom settings, a lot of it was just like discussions or something. It was okay, all right, class, we're going to discuss this topic. What do you think? What do you think? So like, I mean, it's cool we can have like a discussion on the things, but then at the end of the day, like I don't really learn much or anything, and like I want to be learning newer things or more practical things. I could like do more studies, but and then I was like paying a lot of money, so I was like. And then
Mm.
one of the classes, I was throwing paper airplanes in a psychology class,
Okay.
and I was like,
So
"Oh,
you
this
were
is not."
definitely bored.
Yeah,
Okay. So
yeah,
when
yeah.
you say that you want the way that the class was taught, you didn't appreciate it. What could have worked based on what your understanding of how it's the course is taught in the US or psychology courses are taught in the US.
Mm.
What's different there? What is it? As you said, it's discussion, but what is it that the professor would do in terms of teaching, or is it more facilitating?
Mm, I think it's for one, the content seemed to be I don't the structure didn't seem to be very well between the courses because like every year, whether it was first year or like a third year class, it always te seemed to be teaching the same thing over and over again.
Ah.
So like I don't know if they weren't coordinated well or something, but like or that's just how psychology was structured, but like it was like I was learning about the same theory every year and again, and then the quantitative research papers every semester. And
Mm-hmm.
then also they because it's a lot about like research papers and writing things like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, they just kind of expect you to do it, and then they just mock you on how good you are, but they never like properly teach you how to do one well. They just, okay, we have this topic, now write about it. Okay, we're gonna grade you, and you're not gonna get much feedback. And then it was the same thing every time. So like
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like, and I'm personally not a great writer. So they would just kind of expect you to write without teaching you anything, and I'll just write, and then like, oh, I get a bad grade or whatever. But so I think they could have done a better job or each class should have been much more structured and different and proper actually teaching you something because they just like, I'll just write a paper and then I'm gonna grade you because of that. Um,
Okay. Okay.
but in America, they would kind of teach you things and then like give you more.
It was more
Uh,
structured.
yeah, and also the ambiguity in marking in Australia is very bad. For some reason, they just uh, a similar point, but they just like don't give a proper grading structure and they just expect you to do well. And every course was like slightly different, so like it was very hard to do well.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm. So when you say there was no so practical, well, we know it's undergrad, but did they introduce you to any internships to kind of meet theory to practice? Was there anything of the sort?
um,
It's
Well, in a
undergrad, so the expectations will be different from, say, if you decide to move into the master's program. Did they have a master level psychology program?
oh yeah. So for psychology especially, they don't really there's not really like a push to get internships or get outside experience for some
Oh, okay.
reason. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
just well, compared to computer science, there's like this heavy feeling of I need to get an internship or I won't have a job or something.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, psychology, there's not this like urgent feeling to do anything outside of class. It's kind
Mm-hmm.
of most people are just focused on the class and trying to get the masters, but they don't realize that they have to get outside experience, like to be able to have a chance to get the masters. But no
Mm-hmm.
one really like talks about it that much in psychology for some reason. So there's not, and then you can't really do much with the undergrad,
Mm-hmm.
unless you try a lot. But just by in itself, it's very hard to meet. And when I say like psychology is theory, I mean like you can't really apply it anywhere. It's kind of just like you learn like all basic human emotions and things like that. But like in a job setting or practice, you can't really. There's no value to it, I would say. The only value would be like
That's what,
therapy.
okay. So
Yeah.
when say for example in you know, they're introducing the program, what did they say you could do with even a bachelor's or a master's in psychology? For example, in the US, there's a
Hmm.
at the bachelor's level, it's just a stepping stone because that undergrad degree can take you into a master's in sociology. You don't have to stick with the same
Oh yeah.
undergrad or a master's in history. You can keep going if you want to pay the
Hmm.
extra money to take other classes. So, what did they tell you that you could do with the what
Oh,
pathway you could have taken from the undergrad psychology degree?
uh, yeah. So besides a master's in psychology in the US, they said you could, yeah, it was possible to still you can either become like a teacher or work in HR, uh, yeah, human resources or other, yeah, or masters of like counseling or things like that.
Right.
So there were definitely still options, but none of them were psychology really. Really, yeah. But
And
yeah.
do you think, say for example, it kept you excited? Say you were in the US and it did keep you, keep you excited to study it. Do you think you
Mhm.
probably would have gone like in a master's of counseling degree in order to work like in a school setting or a community setting, or what was your plan?
I wanted to become, yeah, either a clinical psychologist or a psychiatrist. So I would have had to take the medical route.
Right. So
Yeah, yeah.
the clinical psychologist is just continue to you mean Psych D, right?
Hmm.
And then for the medical doctor, then you need to get into medical school.
Yeah, into
I
medical
mean,
school. Yeah, yeah.
to be a psychiatrist.
Yes, that's true. Yes.
Okay. But do you know that psychiatry, psychology, they're kind of it really is different in a lot of ways.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know
So
if they
yeah, I would have.
introduced that to you.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I just would have had to take the medical route after. But I was just interested in like, yeah. Oh, that's what my parents wanted me to do. But I was interested
Oh,
in.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
All right. So you finish your psychology degree. Um, but it sounds as if you decided to move into a completely different area. What was that?
Yeah. So yeah, in Australia, I talked about before. I did a elective computer science because in
Hmm.
America, a lot of people were studying computers. I mean, were software engineers, and they
Hmm.
were talking about their how good of job it was, how much free time they had. So I
Right.
was like, okay, maybe I'll try it out just for fun, and it's useful to learn like coding and things like that.
Hmm.
So I gave it a shot, and I actually like really enjoyed it. And compared to my psychology degree, I learned much more than I thought I would, and I
Okay.
found it to be and honestly, if I didn't have the computer science degree, I don't think I would have liked university as much during the
So
thing.
what type level of degree do you have in the computer science?
Yeah, it's undergraduate as well.
It's undergrad as well.
Hmm.
Okay, so you finish your bachelor's in psychology. So you did a
Yeah.
double major then, in a sense.
Yes, yes. Oh yeah, computer science and psychology.
Okay. But
Yeah.
I understand that a lot of students tend to peer psychology and computer science because they're interested in how computers think. How so?
Oh, I don't think it's a very common thing actually having.
It's not?
No, it's not. It's a very it's because they're not related at all or anything, and they're not very use. And the only thing that would be related is neuroscience and machine learning, and that's not
Uh-huh.
really an option. And that's not really an option yet.
So
So,
I'm going to encourage you to take a look because it is becoming a thing. It is becoming a thing.
oh, is it actually?
Yes, where science
Where at?
students are major in computer science or minor or do a double major, just like what you did, because
Oh,
just the way they're trying to understand how humans think, they're trying to understand how computers think. Yes, it is.
is that
It is a
is that
thing.
in the US
Yes,
or everywhere?
yes,
No.
yes. Yes, you can look. I know there's a university, I believe it's Northeastern University, maybe in Boston, that is doing something of the sort. You can have that kind of pairing. It's something you
Okay.
could
Is it
try.
not neuroscience and computer science?
No, it's not neuroscience. It's just computer science and psychology. That is, yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. It's very interesting. But what your area of computer science is software, you said?
Uh, yeah, software engineering basically. Yeah, that's
Okay,
what I
so
want to do.
describe what is that? Describe what that is.
Oh, yeah. So it's like a computer science is the broader field, and then software engineering, I guess, is a smaller subset. But it's basically just writing code and making solving like real world problems with software solutions. So it's like
Mhm.
you make an app or you make a information processing system or you make like a AI to solve a certain daily task or something like that. But yeah, it could
Okay.
be a very broad range of things using code.
So, and what are some of the you know, kind of lab experiments that you've done as it relates to writing is it coding or program? Is it
Oh,
both?
either one, yeah,
Either
either
one.
one, yeah.
What are some of the interesting things you've done?
Um, Something I've done is let's see, interesting. Oh, I've made a in one of my classes, uh, in software engineering, we uh we made a whole like video game with 35 total students together. So it's basically a collaboration with a lot of people to make one game over the semester.
Yeah.
And then every 2 weeks we had like they call it a sprint,
Hmm.
and you just like do as much as you can, and then you learn to because collaborating with software is very difficult actually, because everyone's writing code in the same places, but then you learn a lot of things about teamwork and collaboration. And then at the end, we had a fully like functional game, like a Plants vs Zombies type of thing. Um, and then I did a internship somewhere, and I made like a there's like a podcast summarizer using AI, so then people could
Oh,
just summarize
okay.
things with AI.
So tell us what the future of AI, because if AI is becoming so um, dominant, what does it mean for the workforce, which is like the most basic common question nowadays
Mm.
about AI and what's going to happen if, as you said, you can use AI to create a podcast. So,
Mm.
it's that easy and it's that seamless. So, what do you
Yeah.
think?
I think the workforce is definitely going to change a lot. I
Hmm.
think if you the jobs that are like most at like risk are the very simple admin type jobs are very like not uh very s- very redundant jobs if it's like admin task scheduling or things like language interpreters or things like that.
Hmm.
So, but I don't think it's going to change. I don't think it's going to get rid of the entire workforce or anything. I think there will still be need to be a lot of people
Hmm.
because AI isn't perfect, and but I think people will become more like AI managers kind of thing, having to manage tasks. I think the same way that the internet, removed a lot of jobs, it still created a lot of jobs as well. So I think
Hmm.
AI will, I think it's just important that whatever field you pick, it's not something that AI can do simply. Because a lot of people will say that AI will take over like software engineering, and I think
Hmm.
that's true to an extent. But if you really know software engineering, you know that how complicated and big it is, and that AI can't really do. But AI can still do the smaller parts of software engineering, things like that. So as long as you are studying something quite technical and quite uh hard,
Hmm.
then I think you will be okay. Because like even in my day, software engineering, I mean AI couldn't really do my job well, but it can do the smaller parts of my job very well. So but it
Hmm.
helps me like be quicker and more efficient. So I think if you want to study a degree, you should pick something that's not very simple to do or things like that. Things like AI can't do immediately. So
Do
I
you
think things.
have any concern though, as it will in terms of the from your vantage point, do you have any concern about the ethical side of this, where AI is well, the powers that be can just use AI in such a powerful, dominant way? So even the layman can't even understand the difference between what is real and what is not. Are you concerned about the ethics and that?
Um, I would say for AI, I'm concerned about the ethics for like video generation and being able to like make fake things
Right?
in the real world. In terms of the workforce, I think mm, in terms of work, I wouldn't say there's any ethical. I wouldn't have any dilemmas with it because
Okay.
AI is AI is actually is a very useful tool, and it's already being used in a lot of ways that like normal people can't see nowadays. If it's even in like medical research and things like that, AI is being used a lot in terms
Mm-hmm.
of like brain imaging and being able to detect diseases a lot. So it's actually very useful in terms of that already. So like things that humans can't do. So I wouldn't say like, oh, we should never use AI because but it's like it's helping a lot of things with medical things like that. Um,
But you know the dangers of it on the other side. But we know that, yes, advanced and innovative ways of, making people better, if that's the case, then in medicine and in other areas. It's a good thing, but we know that there are predators out there that know how to use it in dangerous ways, right?
oh
Are
yes, of
you-
course there are in dangerous ways, but yeah, and yeah, we definitely should have safeguards against those. Um, yeah, I just
Who
wouldn't
should be
know how
doing
to.
that? Who should be policing AI?
Oh well, yeah, it should be the governments and the people who make because yeah, they have to. I mean, a lot of the powers in check. I mean, a lot of the powers in like the U.S. are very um, I think it's quite unregulated. So, but it's quite hard to stop them unless you're like the government kind of thing. Because as like the middle class, we can't really do much unless we
Mhm.
uh you know rally out there. But yeah,
So
it
you
depends
have
on
an
the.
international background, and you probably so you're between Australia, the US, and Indonesia. Which one of the countries? I don't want to assume it's the US. So which one of the countries seems to be more advanced, especially as it comes to AI, and you know it seems to dominate most of the industry and they're using it. Which country do you see that occurring more?
Mm, I out of those three, I would definitely say the US because the US is just that's where everything is and that's where all the talent goes to and that's where all the money is
Hmm.
that like Australia doesn't have and Indonesia is just not in the picture at all.
Oh,
But
wow.
yeah, yeah. But I would also say that China is a very big player as well in
Hmm.
the I would say arguably it's more advanced than the US.
Okay.
'Cause they have really smart people and things like that. But yeah, I would say it's between China and the US on who's gonna win the AI race or whatever it is.
Okay. Okay. Very good. This has been very interesting. I know we are at the 1 hour mark, and I it. What time is it in Australia at this time?
Oh, it's 1 p.m.
Okay, so that's interesting. I forgot that it's kind of
Yeah,
upside down in a way, and it's Saturday or
yeah, it's Saturday.
okay. So and this is Friday for us, so that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yes.
Wow. What is social life like there in Australia?
Um,
And can
what
you clearly see the social class as you know as distinctive as it is in the US?
I would say the social life in Australia is for the middle class is way better than the US. I would say it's arguably the one of the best in the world in terms of
Oh,
middle class.
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a very flat structure, even in terms of I think Australia has like this highest or at least one of the highest top three like minimum wage in the world. So um and then also people get taxed a lot more in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
So it's much more, and then there's the like healthcare benefits, like free healthcare and
Okay.
the the HEC system I was telling you about. So
Mm-hmm.
it's much, and it's much more livable here if you're just standard living in like I mean Asia, Indonesia. There's a very wide range. It's like most people are poor, and then there's the very few rich, and then
Mm-hmm.
very few like middle class, and then even in America, I would say it's very tough for middle
Oh,
class
yeah.
as and because yeah, I mean yeah, especially when I was living there in the US, even though I was paying like those exorbitant US college fees,
Right.
I was still earning like minimum wage, and I was working on campus,
Mm-hmm.
but I was earning like like yeah $10 an hour, even though I was paying like 30 grand. But in Australia, I was paying less, and I was earning like a lot more for a minimum wage job. So I
Okay.
think it's very um,
Okay.
it's just
What
it's just
about
much more. Yeah.
what about the housing structure there? What is it like? Do you find people living more in apartments?
Oh,
Or they're living more in rural settings, which is it? Which it seems to be, or they're clustered in the city, as say, for example, New York. Do you have that type of metropolitan settings in
uh, Um, in Brisbane, Australia specifically, it's quite sparse. It's quite enlarged. So uh, it's a lot more suburban area than you expect. There is a city area, but it's quite small and mainly just for work. Not many people live there because it's
Mhm,
quite expensive to be in the city area. But Brisbane is very large. The only downside I would say is the public transport is not great. So
uh-huh,
it's you kind of have to have a car to be able to survive and move around well. But I
mhm.
mean, most of the US is also like kind of like that. Um, the transport is like okay in Australia, but yeah, I'd say most people live in like housing, suburban area, and then
Mhm.
some apartments. But yeah,
Okay. And for the young people in their social life, like say within your age cohort, um, one of the biggest problem in the US is social isolation. Do you find
Mhm.
social isolation an issue there?
Mm, I think personally for me, I don't. I've well for one I've like grown up here a bit, and then I made it a priority in at least university to like make social part a big part of my life. So even if it was like I had to study long hours or work a lot, I was always doing it with friends or something.
Hmm.
So I made sure to find friends in my degree and things like that. But I can definitely see social isolation being a problem for some people if they, because especially in Australia, um, like people live outside of campus. So a lot of people don't even bother coming to campus at all. So they would just stay at home all day. And then I guess that would feel the social isolation. But I made it a point to go to uni like every day for
Hmm.
me. But I know a lot of people are my friends who don't go out to uni much. So like some people may feel that social isolation.
Okay,
Yeah.
and one final question. Which is your is there a favorite Australian band?
Favorite Australian band.
Do you listen to
Honestly, I don't really listen to much Australian.
Okay,
Music.
what's the musical arena there like then?
Uh, I would say I'm not very involved in the Australian music, like the local
Okay.
music and all.
So
Yeah,
you
I
probably
would.
still listen to the American stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I only care about the international things. Yeah,
Okay.
Australia is not great for like more fun, uh, cooler things. I'd say it's just good for living, but there's not much there's not much as good entertainment in Australia. All the entertainment is still from the US kind of thing.
So you tend
Yeah.
to integrate that into your life. So you get a little bit of everything then from
Yeah,
other places.
I try to get the best out of everything, and then avoid the best. So yeah.
For a young if a young adolescent youth, say 17, 18, that wants to, you know, move through life with awareness, a sense of awareness, and
Mhm.
you know, take on university, take on a career, what would be your advice to them,
Mm.
this young
Um,
person? What would you
yeah.
say?
I would say so assuming they're going to university, is it?
Yeah, assuming that
Yeah.
they're going to
Yeah.
university.
I would say so whatever like career path they pick, I would say uh they should find their end goal. So let's if they want to be a lawyer, if they want to be a doctor or something, whatever it is. So whatever it is, they should know what it is and find it, and then
Mhm,
they should work backwards from it. So I think you can achieve anything you want, honestly, I feel. But you just
mhm,
have to know what you have to get. So no matter how hard it is, you should think long term. So just for an example, as me so I wanted to be a software engineer coding, right? So I would need to
mhm,
get a job. But then to get a job, I needed to get internships and I need to get work experience and then to get internships, I need to have projects and I need to have like
right.
other work experience. So you just work backwards from there and
Mhm,
then you keep going step by step. So then as I was going uni, I wasn't focusing on getting a software engineering job. I was focusing on getting that first internship, getting that first work experience, and I could
mhm,
slowly build my way up. Because I think it's quite so it's either some people they just don't think about it at all, so they just do nothing, or they get overwhelmed and they start with the very big option first. So I
yeah.
think you should find their path, and I don't think you should limit yourself. I think you should go big. I think everything is achievable if you just break it down to smaller parts, right? So just think big and then we just work step by step and eventually and then whatever it is you're trying to achieve that little part, just go all out, network with people, talk with people. If you have to post on social media, sure. If you have to apply to 1,000 jobs, so be it. That's just the way it takes. Okay.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think just whatever you're doing, just be aware and just go for it.
Okay, I
Yeah.
know I said it's only one question, but because you said that, I have another one too.
Yeah.
Um, what what should how should young people within your from where you are, you study a little, you study your psychology, you still, I'm sure you still have remnants of it in your head, and you see what is happening in the world, and you're a multicultural background type of guy. Um, what can people do to actually achieve a value to the quality of their life versus video game, fast food, you know,
Mm,
sitting at home? What else is there for them to do? What do you think?
interesting. I think oh add value.
Yeah,
Interesting.
versus just
I would say um so yeah, you have to think about I used to play a lot of video games as well and
okay.
not good things and go out and do that. But I think the one thing is you have to like think about what you want. They usually require sacrifice. So then yeah, you can play video games, but is it hindering you from achieving your goals and things like that? So that's what I would say to stop it. But also I think another thing that to add the quality of your life, which I've been doing a lot recently, is like prioritizing health a lot more.
Okay.
I think things like yeah, eating good and then also like sleep is very important because
Mhm.
I think if you don't sleep well, your like cognitive functions just aren't there, and you don't produce as much good work and things like that. So, and then I've um things like going to the gym and exercising. It's even though
Mhm.
it's like takes time out of your day, it can quite improve your quality of work and how you feel and things like that. So I think it's
Exactly.
very important to take that into account. So I like to track I try like to track all my steps and my health, my sleep and everything. So now it's much more efficient. So I think especially when you're young, uh it's much more easier to maintain that healthy habit because once you get older, it's very hard to get into it. So if you
Hmm.
start young, because when you're young, you can do anything, right? So you can either choose to party, play games, or whatever, or you can
Hmm.
choose to be more, health focused, and then that will be easier to continue when you're older. Because when you're older and you didn't do that things, it's very hard to get into it, I would say.
Right.
But yeah, that's money.
All right, so I've asked you a lot of questions, and sometimes, just following the line of questions, maybe in your head, in the back of your mind, you're thinking, oh, she didn't ask me this. What one question that you think I should have asked you that I didn't?
Um, it's probably say, uh, oh, because I also, yeah. Besides my multi-international experience, I have also like studied and worked in other countries as well.
What are some of the
So
other countries?
so I did do a so I did do an internship in Jakarta, Indonesia as well. But
Okay.
I also studied for a month in China.
Okay.
Um,
Wow.
yeah, and I also did an internship in Singapore at a company.
Wow.
But yeah,
Is
so.
that for the software engineering?
Uh, oh yes, yeah, both of those were related to software engineering. Yeah, I wanted to get internships, but um, internships internationally as well, so I can get a
Hmm.
bit of both.
And you
But yeah,
did, it seems.
sorry.
And you did get
Oh
them.
yes, yes,
You did
yes.
get them.
So yeah,
So
that's
are
good.
you settled now in a particular job or are you still just looking?
Um, yeah. Oh yeah, I'm working as a graduate software engineer now.
Okay,
It's
great.
in Brisbane, Australia. Yeah, but
Great.
I might be. Yeah, I'm still exploring my options, but I think just for now, I would be settling. Yeah, I'm just settling for now.
Well, Isaac, Arli, thank you so much. It's been very interesting meeting you and hearing about your experience. It's very rich.
Yes.
Um, and the fact that you have that Indonesia background, which, as I said to you, there's this movie star that I enjoy his movie, but I can't pronounce his name. But but there's this one other person, one other group. They're called King and Country that they're Australian, but they live in the US and they sing a different genre of music. They sing more of what is it like religious pop cultural type songs. Have you ever heard that group? They're from Australia.
No, I'm not.
Well, when you get off here, then you go
Yeah.
look them up.
Oh,
They're
okay, sure.
called King and Country. Very, very good group. The songs are very good.
Okay.
But thank you so much. I really do
Okay.
appreciate it, and wish you the best and wish you good luck. Bye bye.
All right. Thank you very much. That's it. Thanks. See ya.